Hi, welcome back to the Peninsulas. Shannon here, Michigan. So today, it's been a nice balmy, about 50 degrees. The high was in the 60s, low 60s. And in Florida right now, it's about 62 degrees, which kind of puts us pretty close to the same playing field. So this week, originally, I was going to talk about my garden cleanup, but I haven't gotten to that because, as I said before, ADHD. So I got distracted by the mess that we had in between our barns. So previously in our first intro video, you could see the portion between our two barns. We have a big pole barn, and then we have what I call the big hog barn. And there's a lot of brush and overgrowth there that need to be cleaned out. We couldn't even get back to where the silos were. And main motivation for me just getting distracted by this cleanup was the chickens. The chickens kept going back there to try and hide, and they were just roaming around, but we're waiting for them to lay eggs. And so we kept trying to search and we couldn't find eggs. So I was like, we have to clear this out. We have to be able to get back here. So we started a fire. Fire fixes everything, right? So we know that there's concrete underneath all of the brush. So we just started the fire on the top of the concrete, and we were pulling all the weeds, and we were pulling the vines out that are in those trees and growing from the very small portion of really great soil that has come from the decomposing leaves on top of the concrete. So we kept pushing the fire back towards a fallen log that had been chopped up, and we kept pulling the logs that we had from a previous tree that had been chopped down in the spring. We were saving some of those for some campfires that we might like to maybe have for the fall, winter time when the weather's nice. But also just any of the sticks and limbs and stuff from the trees that are dead, we just decided to burn those. We also have that garage that we actually knocked down probably about 3 months ago. And we've been taking it apart and salvaging as much wood as we possibly can. And we decided to burn a lot of the siding that we're not going to be using for any kind of animal enclosures or raised beds because it has paint. We're not exactly sure what kind of paint it's on. So we decided to burn it when there was no wind or any risk of us being too close to the smoke. So, so we lugged a lot of the pieces that were just kind of stacked up there into the fire. There's a lot of transportation, so not all of it is gone. We like to give ourselves an ending time because I get extremely enthusiastic and will spend morning till evening outside trying to do as much work as possible, whereas we like to pace ourselves a little bit because then we're just exhausted. So we gave ourselves an end time and we just burned as much as we could during that period of time. Another reason why we decided to also just go ahead and clean up this area was the barn doors. So the barn doors to the hog barn were covered in vines. We couldn't open them. And inside the barn, it's quite clean. So a little bit of history of the farm. This originally was a farmhouse to 400 acres. The farmer, according to the neighbors who have been here for a while, he would raise hogs as well as cattle, and I guess fields of corn, which is pretty typical around here. He kept it really nice. Most farmers probably do because it's their livelihood. And so the barn is very clean, but we just can't get in it very well, and we can't see in it. So getting into those doors was important so that we can just go in there, fix windows, stuff like that will need to be done later. So that's a lot of the reasons why we got distracted from garden preparation for next season by cleanup of this. I heard that you can be ADHD and be a farmer or a homesteader because nobody talks about how many projects you have going on at the same time. And that's perfect for my brain because I can bounce from one thing to the other like a ping pong ball and nobody says anything about it. So a lot of this is going to just be us cleaning up. We worked as a team. Everybody pitched in. We got quite a bit of... we got more than I thought we would cleaned up, which is awesome. So Another reason was during garden prep, there's a lot of soil on top of this concrete that would be good to use as topsoil or like a compost on top of the garden for next spring. So my goal is to clear this out as much as possible and just pull out all of the roots from the vines and the weeds that were growing there and use this soil that's kind of sifted from all of the things that are in it on top of the garden next year. It's perfect compost. It's leaves from trees that have been sitting there for years, decomposing into a perfect garden soil that my plants will love next year. So we've been doing that with the gable barn that we have that is kind of sort of an old barn-ish as well. There's a lot of really, really old aged manure that I've been pulling out of there bit by bit. So we'll be on that later another time. And it's going to go on top of the soil in the garden, which next week I hope to be able to show you what my garden prep looks like. Yeah, so you can see there's just weeds growing. I don't know how the pokebush plant, the pokeweed grows through the concrete. Like, it's incredible how these plants that it was clear in the spring and they've just grown out over the entire season. And we just have to go in manually and pull them out. Underneath that section, we have a issue with groundhogs that have created holes under our barn, so we need to also access those holes so we can fill them in and hopefully discourage the groundhogs from continuing to live in them through our presence, B, filling in their holes all the time, and any other methods that are necessary to get rid of them as they are causing the foundation of the barn to kind of collapse, which may become a major issue in the future. So we want to get rid of those guys. They're not very helpful. Our hopes for the future of this area are just kind of a few things. Maybe possibly building a chicken run over on this side, as I'm discovering that free-ranging chickens is great. It's cute, it's adorable, and I love it. It's not as safe for the chickens as I would like it to be in our current situation. So possibly creating a chicken run that comes out this side of the barn and just goes underneath all those trees and stuff, and it'll be easy cleanup, and it'll be easy for the chickens to have a clean area that can be hosed down if necessary. If free-ranging fully doesn't help or doesn't work out for us, I will plan to do some free-ranging, keeping them locked up mostly. But another one is whether or not we want to pull up a lot of the concrete. So there's a lot. We have a lot of concrete. Hogs, apparently, for large farms were kept on concrete, and that was just the easiest thing to do to keep them clean and easy for cleanup. So we have concrete everywhere, and it also keeps tractors from getting bogged down in the mud. So we have concrete. And so in order to decide whether or not we want to rip up some of it, all of it, if there's some of it that we can't rip up due to foundational issues, we need to be able to see it. So we have to uncover it, see what expanse it covers, and if we actually want to undertake that. Another reason was the possibility that if this section is clear enough and the sun is nice, maybe building a greenhouse in the future in this section, because we already have the foundation down, and we don't have to necessarily create an entirely new foundation and section. Just we've got it there. Yeah. So those are a lot of the reasons why my brain was like, oh, hey, let's go ahead and clean this up so I can, it's like the clutter of the yard. I have to be able to think through it. And it was just good, hard work for the day, and everybody can be involved. And my husband really likes fire. So yeah, nothing like a good fire to make everything look a lot prettier. So we want to be able to utilize all the space that we have. And we're kind of I'm personally lacking the ideas that we could just put on top of concrete. So I'm kind of thinking that this will be a big project of pulling out a lot of concrete and maybe recycling it somehow, or yeah, depending on how deep it is, because we don't really want to do that all by hand. But as you can see, we did burn quite a lot. We pushed the fire as far back as we were comfortable pushing it back for that day, and as far forward as we could. It never ignited in the downed log as much as we wanted it to, but that will be the next step of this process, and just burning that down. So one thing that's important, obviously, about determining whether we want to put raised beds or a greenhouse or chickens is knowing where the sun goes. So I couldn't see, because I couldn't go back there, where the sun tracks in this particular area of the yard. And I would like to know, okay, in this season, we get sun here and this part of the day. So do I want to do raised beds? I don't know, because I can't tell. But as you can see, we had some visitors. They get super curious about everything that we do. So these are our youngest chickens, and they're absolutely the most curious little guys ever. Little girls. And that's our favorite rooster, Clark. He's our monster. He's very large, but he's super friendly, and we love him very, very much. We would all be very, very sad if anything ever happened to Clark. He's a good rooster for the hens. He's a great rooster for the girls. And we just enjoy having him. He's also very pretty. So as you can see, chickens came to visit at the end of the middle of the progress to check out, what bugs we might have uncovered for them. They are doing their thing, because this was, as I said previously, a favorite place they would hang out, and I would always panic and be like, oh my gosh, all the chickens are gone. And they were gone. They're just hiding. This is the end result of the day's work. It went a lot faster than I thought, and it was quite fun. Hard work, but we managed to clear out most of that area, especially at the side of the barn there. And that will be a section that is going to be good. Oh, and Clark ended up running through some pricklies, so my husband had to rescue him, and we had to pick some prickles out of his feathers, but he patiently allowed us to do that. But yeah, so this is the progress that we made so far, and I'm sure there will be another rendition of more burning. But we really enjoyed the fire that day. It was a nice day, a nice weather day. We made a lot of progress. We're trying to rescue that tree from all of the vines so that we can build tree forts if we want to up there, and just be able to access our barn. And it looks so much better back here. It's kind of a nice space for peace of mind. There's our barn door that you can see we can finally access, and the windows that we can start getting replaced as necessary. Some of them are not broken, some of them are, but now we can just kind of enjoy the space and keep it under control until next spring, when we'll have to burn it all again. But yeah, hopefully you found this step of our homesteading adventure, if not informative, very fun part of our journey that we can share with you. So yeah, like and subscribe.